If it's knowledge, humour, or a different perspective that you seek, look for the wisdom in the words that we speak. Words and wisdom. We'll let you decide. Take it away, Zak Purdy.
Hello and welcome to Words and Wisdom Podcast, the podcast where we take the black, the white and the nuance areas and dive into them to try and give you a new perception and a new view on reality.
Hit me with it, baby.
I'll hit you with it. What, on camera?
Everything you got.
Today we're going to be
the
speaking
energies.
about, as this is a topic that you brought up, the true self. So if you want to elaborate, what is the true self?
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Can you imagine like 11 o'clock at a party and you bring out that question? Everyone's just going to start throwing eggs at you.
Yeah, in the middle of the Regal light.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got an announcement to make.
Tomatoes. They take you out with a headlock.
Yeah.
Just come here for a nice night, mate. But we're the two characters that would always do that as well.
You catch me outside at the smoking area like, so guys, anybody, what does anybody think about the true self?
Yeah. You have the best Stewie accent. Always pull out something. You've either got Gollum or Stewie.
So what do you think then? What would you say the true self is?
The reason I'd had a lot of conversations recently about it, been writing a bit more in my poetry and music, been going to the gym, and I suppose there's a lot of people faking it at the minute as well, who are, again, openly have conversations about it, and they're like, oh, I don't really feel comfortable in this, but it's a persona I feel I need to act. I've had them really deep and honest conversations. I try not to mention names, but people, when I've been going to the gym, they might mention to me first, like, I'm wearing quirky clothes or like pink tops or whatever, and then they have a bit of banter with me and they say something daft and they're like, oh mate, you've spilt something down you. And I'll turn to them and say, oh yeah, so really inspired by your black top over there. What made you choose it? And then we end up having a good conversation though. We'll sit down later and they're like, I like you because like you're being what you want to be. You're doing yourself and you're just being true to you. And I don't know, like sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm very, what's the word, I say aloof a lot, but vague with it. It's hard to know your true self sometimes.
So I guess what you're saying there, from what I can gather, is that the true self in your perception and view is just doing what you want to do, regardless of what anybody else thinks, and regardless of what society tries to impress on you.
Yeah, so then we've had that conversation, and then I say, like, what about you? What makes you choose this, or what makes you go on this path and that journey? And the honesty comes back to me. They're like, you know what? I'm not very happy at the minute. Or actually, I don't feel very comfortable in my circles and groups and people I'm hanging out with. And I feel I've got to act a certain way. But if you don't act that way, they're going to judge you in this way. So again, the reason I wanted to talk to you about it was just because I had some really beautiful conversations emerge recently where I felt quite passionate about it, because I'd not been made to feel that way for a while. I just started wearing what I wanted to wear, speaking to who I wanted to speak to, how I want to speak to them. And then when them conversations come back up, I was like, oh, that might be quite good to go down that path of. Again, I'm somebody, I have my good days, my bad days. I feel like I'm being myself even when I'm in the bad days, but I'm predominantly just going around trying to live the reality that I'm most comforted in, rather than thinking about what people's perceptions of me are always going to be, and I need to mold my reality to shape that. I'm trying every day to just go, what does it feel good for you today? What feels right? And I suppose on condensing this, if I was going to say what your true self could be, it's more of a feeling, what feels right. Use that as a GPS, and navigate yourself with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. So I think for myself, I've got a couple of ideas of true self. I've got the true self is I like to think of, when a baby's born. Now the baby is as it is. It just acts on love. When it looks at its mum, it's love. It's that face, that smile of love and innocence and curiosity. And you've not been impressed upon yet by society. It's not told you to have this certain way of dressing, have this these certain lips, and have this certain tattoo, and do this certain way, and live this certain way. That's when you are true. You're just completely, like an untouched ball of energy. So there's that way of looking at it. I like, instead of saying true self, is being true to oneself. Is like, so if you obviously you don't want to go out and cheating, and you don't want to be doing the wrong things and eating the wrong things. You've got to stay true to yourself. You've got to be honest to yourself, because again, because if we say that true self is the feeling, how do you achieve that feeling? Well, you've got to be honest to yourself. You've got to say what you think and what you mean. You can't lie to people, because all that, you're going away from your true self. You're
it's
being
kind of
deceptive.
the film Pinocchio, but like letting his conscience be the guide. And I suppose I always believe the happiest self is probably the truest self. And when you are doing the cheating and you're lying and you're arguing and you're going off that side, often you're negating away from what the conscience is truly telling you, though, because I believe on the core we're all energy. We've all got like a certain way of being, because we're human and we all connect on similar levels. So when you're doing that path, it doesn't feel true. Maybe that's just me. That's how I feel.
They call that the higher conscious, don't they?
Yeah,
Like the higher self.
That's the higher self.
So
yeah.
it's the higher self. And I genuinely believe that. I feel that as well. I feel that when I was taking something called Psalms a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And Psalms, they're like a very mild, they're almost like a steroid, but they're not a steroid, and they're legal at the minute. You take them, they help to grow muscle. They'll soon be. But they help you to do this, help you to do that. They say there's no side effects.
Okay.
Now, when I first went to order them and I had the thought of taking them, I had signs, the universal signs we'll call them, that was like, you shouldn't really be doing that. But I was like, yeah, let's do it anyway. And through the time of doing it, my energy went low, my motivation went low, business dropped, everything felt wrong. I stopped taking them about a week ago, and I've started to feel right again. Like I went through a period of depression and real bad emotional, negative emotions came to the surface. And a week later, after not taking them, I almost feel back to normal. I feel like I'm back. You feel it in your heart that I'm back on the right track again.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing like synchronicities and universal signs that are telling me I'm on the right path, if you believe in that stuff. So I'm being true to myself again. And my true self is someone that believes in holistic, health, nutrition, not steroids. I don't believe, because I believe that steroids is just like an ego thing. Like, why do I need to be excessively big and stuff like that? So for me, as my personal self, I believe that's wrong. And yeah, it's just finding that feeling of being on the right track. You'll know when you're on the right track, because you're filled with this energy from the inside. Can only be
from feeling, I believe. Yeah, too much thought all comes from ego. If it's a good thought about yourself or a bad thought about yourself, it's all ego based. But when you're taking it from feeling and you're doing them things, it all comes from the heart for me. But like, what's the difference from true self then and higher self? Are they on a very similar plane, do you feel, or are they side by side? Where are they standing? Because maybe we could have called it the higher self.
So maybe I think they are very similar. I think the higher self is the one that it's like you're out at night, you're in a club, it's 3 a.m, there's something telling you that you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
It's like, you should probably go home now, but you stay out anyway.
Yeah,
it's the higher self, the true self.
True self.
Yeah, or it's like, you shouldn't be taking those. You shouldn't take those drugs. And you go, yeah, let's have some, lads. I'll have some of that, because then you're going against your true self, and then you pay the repercussions after.
Maybe, I love that we just discovering as we go on, because we're like just two mates in a pub together. But like the higher self for me is something like when you were the baby and you've just given this gift, you're just given these feelings, and then the true self is a part of you that's been built up, but it's the true you.
Can your true self change at any time then?
Yeah, I think you're constantly changing. So like as I grew up, things I navigated to was just like boxing, like football, like mainly sporty really, but that's because my dad's been all that way inclined. But when I do it, I feel great now. I go to the gym, I do my boxing. I've just been today and I can't move my arms.
So when we say true self, it almost like true, it means it's like a true point. It's true, it's there and it's fixed. And I think being true to yourself would be a better way to describe it, because if the true self changes continuously, it's more about being true to that version of yourself as you go along.
Because I like what you said there, man. Yeah, I'm in. There's a poem in this. Because I think the higher self remains the same for me. Like it is all the serving something higher than self. It's serving the best parts of nature, looking after one another, being compassionate, being
love,
loving.
Joy, compassion.
Yeah, these
giving,
are like
selflessness.
The higher self. And then the true self, though, is being your quirky side. Like when it is wearing like funky gear, or if it is wearing black because that's what you're about and you prefer that way of being, just be true to it, because real recognize real.
So we actually spoke about something before this podcast. We spoke about when women or men, mainly women at the minute, they'll over-sexualize themselves and post photos and get their lips done and get their boobs done and bum lift and all of that business. And from my eyes, that's not the true self, because you said something quite beautifully. You said that they're trying to make themselves look to something that they've seen.
Well, I've heard arguments saying, well, when they get all these fillers or they get like plastic surgery all done, they are being their true self because they're finding their self from it. But for me, why are they not getting a jaw like out here, like built that way, or their head could be in like a spiky shape if they wanted, or anything could happen, but they're still basing
square breasts.
Yeah, square, exactly that though. Like, why are they doing it in a certain shape and a certain form?
Because they've seen celebrities do it.
Seems so to me
is that
like
the true self, or are you trying to replicate something?
Replicating something society is trying to manufacture to me and trying to build you on. And I think it negates again away from like who you are. I think your imperfections are a beautiful part of you and a part of yourself. But definitely, as a society, we are trying to like sandbag it and punch it together and build them into little molds that we're trying to shape of a society's beauty and norms.
And they get them from a young age as well.
Yeah,
I mean, you're having a girl soon, aren't you? A little girl.
Yeah.
So they get them from such a young age, like this new video, this new song, WAP. Mate, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I've seen.
And then you've got like 75% of the viewers.
Frequency of
very low frequency, mate.
Who we are and what we're about.
Okay, so frequency is like a vibration and stuff like. I'm not an expert on it, but you've got different levels of frequency and emotions. So like, love is like 500 hertz and it's vibrating really fast. So you know when you're in love with someone, you feel that energy.
Yeah.
That's you're vibrating high. You're in love. Okay, love is like 500, and you've got like joy and compassion up there. Then down here, you've got like anger, fear. The lowest of the low of the emotions is lust.
Going off of like a real like monkey minds and animalistic nature.
Exactly.
So I suppose that's what we feed most into, because it's the easiest to sort of digest. So people like the media in particular are going to want to make you consume through that. So they're like, here's some tits, here's a bit of leg, buy this product, and it's all consumerism then. And I suppose that's what we're buying into.
Okay, because when you're in the vibration of love and happiness and joy, you don't require any material possessions. When you're in love, you don't care about what you're wearing. All of a sudden, like you get complacent, you get comfortable in a relationship because you're in love. You don't need anything. Why do we buy new clothes? Well, I buy new clothes because I want to look good. Why do I want to look good? Well, probably a lot of it boils down to attracting members of the opposite sex or same sex, if that's what you're into. So again, like you just so rightly said, if they can keep us in these low vibrations, and by they I mean the reptile people, if they can keep us in these low vibrations, they can sell to us and make more money.
Yeah, I agree. Everything's become consumerism now, even to our individual basis. Like when it's Rhythmical Mike or OnlyFans, we're all selling a product with
the same the same URL.
How do you want to see Rhythmical Mike be OnlyFans nowadays?
Use a comment below if you want to see Rhythmical Mike with the tits out.
I think it's an interesting conundrum there, because we're all becoming a product, we're all becoming a consumerism in a essence, and using our exteriors to propel that, whereas I think for a higher self we want to be coming in from more of that loving nature and the more higher aspects of what humanity can be and is, but we are going through the lowest frequencies at the minute.
How do we where do we go from here then? Does it get worse from here, because it's only got worse over the past few years, or do we hit a point where this society that we've created and we realize that isn't working anymore? Does it crumble?
The pendulum might swing, like, it goes this way and then it goes that way, and it just moves. The only thing that is the world is constant, movement is constant, change is constant, because there's no other way. So I'm not one of them pessimists that just like, oh no, it's all going backwards, we're screwed, like this is it, because the only way we can go is forward. The only thing that's constant is change, I think I heard the other day, and it was beautiful. So I reckon we just ride it and we try and do our best on a daily together, like me and you, like having these conversations, going out meeting new people, trying to express that best side of ourselves to other people. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
And not get bogged down.
While staying true to who we think we are and what we believe, and staying true to ourselves along the way.
And then like base like parts of ourselves I like dressing ourselves up and having the muscles, and you know there's elements of that that's nice to a level.
Just
but
had a
don't
thought as well,
get stuck
Mikey.
in it.
So with the dress and stuff, I've recently started investing in a new style of clothes. As you can see, if you're watching,
the yellow.
I've got a bit of a new hair as well.
New hair. So, that's what I was on about.
I've got my hair. My hair's longer. I'm wearing yellow, and it's because I feel that's right, and I feel like I've been suppressing it for so long because I've been hanging around with people who wear certain clothing. Through
that's
lockdown, I wasn't
start the podcast. So come down to that.
So and through lockdown, I've not been hanging about with anybody. So I think I've finally figured out what I want and how I want to dress. And then when I go out in this, I'm not feeling uncomfortable anymore because I'm being true to myself, and
you attract that in people as well. They feel it in you. Like, do you know, when you are just being the most real version of you can try and be, like those real people start coming towards you, and they're like, oh, you're just doing you. I'm gonna just do me.
Was
and
that a self compliment? Like, because now I'm attracted you into my life.
Oh, yeah. I'll make sure I give myself them now and then.
No, you're doing all right, Zach. You've attracted me into your life.
You got a little piece of real in there, baby.
So, I mean, is there anything you want to add on or touch on with the...
touch on every time. Can't stop touching on, can we?
What do I could touch on? With the true self.
Again, I think it is all accordance to like feeling. That's what the best way to go off of. When you're feeling in life confused and you're feeling uncomfortable and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, this isn't who I am because of that feeling, just take a minute out. Just have a breather.
And when you've got that feeling... because the feeling comes first, I believe, but then what the head does. So like, I feel like I like this t-shirt, and then I put it on, but what? Then your mind goes, but what will your friends say?
Yes.
Don't listen to the head. Just follow the heart and the gut. Get that feeling from in here.
All ego. Everything that's created in the mind chatter, all comes from ego base. And as soon as the ego talking, it's a vicious and vacuous cycle of endless conversation in your own mind.
And a good way to quieten that down is meditation. I've been doing that recently a lot.
How have you been getting on?
Brilliant, mate. I started off at 3 minutes in the morning.
Sick.
And now, then I wanted to do 3 minutes at night as well. So now I've increased it week by week. I'm on 11 minutes in the morning and 11 minutes in the night. And I was doing something, was it yesterday or the day before? And what you do is you breathe in, you hold the breath, you contract the pelvic floor, you pull the stomach in and you contract the top stomach muscles, and then you concentrate on the pineal gland, and you can. And I had this tingling in my brain and in my head, and everything felt warm, and I felt really happy. And it comes in glimpses. So I think I'm getting close to achieving some kind of a crazy experience through meditation, but it helps me as well to, when that mind starts chattering, I can catch it. I'm like, oh, there he goes again. He's trying to pull me down that stream of thought, trying to get me lost in that stream, and then I can pull myself back to the present. So meditation helps.
I still do meditate, and when I was doing it a lot, I was really attaching myself to every thought that came. I was like, oh, I need to work this one out now. Yeah. But I saw it again. It might be an Alan Watts talking. He's good if you listen to Alan Watts or Eckhart Tolle. But he was like, literally see it as emails, and you're just archiving everyone. Yeah. Don't like attach yourself. Just go, no, not today, and let them come and go, rather than believing that's something you need to explore.
And you will find yourself attached to one. So if I give you an example, like it's, I need to do this later, I need to put the washing on, and then you'll start picturing yourself putting the washing in the washing machine. You'll put yourself through the hole before you've even done it, and then you have to bring yourself back to the center again. One thing that I found was toxic. I used to do toxic thoughts. So I used to think of my girlfriends cheating on me, and then I think it's so much in my brain that it became real in reality, and I got scared, and I was projecting my insecurities onto the relationship because of this thing I was creating in my head. Whereas if I knew how to meditate, then I would have been able to go, that's just a thought, it doesn't mean it's reality, bring myself back to the center, and you won't destroy your relationships that way.
That's great, man. So like starting off with like literally 3 minutes or maybe even a minute of just focusing on breath, closing your eyes and just being.
And I think if you want to get into some kind of meditation, you want to find your true self, and you want to calm your overactive mind down, start with guided meditations on YouTube with your headphones, because that's how I started a couple of years ago. Get your headphones in, go through the guided meditation. They teach you how to meditate, because there is specific ways to meditate with the breath, concentration on the breath. And then once you've got the hang of it that way, then learn to do it without the background noise and the music and the guide.
That's right. One thing I've been doing a lot again recently, like when I go on the treadmill, because I want to keep fit, I'd usually just sit down and then I'd write for an hour and then I'd go to the gym. But I've been doing it on the treadmill. So I don't know, do you write much? Have you ever got into writing or bothered with it?
A little bit, bits and bobs, mate.
I mean, obviously, because it's one of my passions, so I've got that there. But if you've ever tried writing, or if you haven't bothered trying writing, maybe it is one of your passions. And that is something that's really been helping me recently, like really got back on the horse again of writing.
So I didn't answer that properly, really. I have been writing a lot recently. I write a gratitude journal.
Ace.
Before I go to sleep. I've been writing blogs on fitness and mental health. So yeah, I do write.
Yeah.
I do feel like it helps to get all my thoughts down on paper.
Again, yes, I've found out so much about what I was actually feeling recently. I just I've not picked a topic, I've not done anything in particular. It's called free writing, and just wrote whatever was here at all, and just put it down without thinking. You just put it down, and it feels like meditation. It really does.
Man,
it's just
like
a purge. So
that. So that was true self. I think we also touched on the higher self and meditation and just overactive mind there. So
politics and everything.
Politics, aliens, bro, everything, mate. Pass me the joint, innit? So we hope you got some kind of value from this crazy thing that's going on right now that we call a podcast. And if you did, drop us a thumbs up, drop us a like, drop us a comment.
Very loosely podcast.
Yeah, we say
just
that very loosely.
blabbling on.
We love it though. We love it, mate.
Really
and there's 3 people that follow us. So
yes, baby, we love you all.
We love you. We do love all our followers. And if you have any questions or any thoughts or any ways that you think we can improve as human beings or as podcasters, please drop us a message. Constructive criticism and nudes.
Nice. I knew we'd get there.
Hey, give
I
us
knew
some
we'd
nudes,
get there.
mate.
I knew it.
Nipples and stuff.
Just way too clearly nipples in my head then. I didn't need that coming from your little mouth hole. Right, big love guys, one love as always. Stay true to no one but you.